What's up, everybody? I just wanted to come on here and make a quick video going with the January trends. And somebody was talking to me about saints, you know, being mean in the church. And, you know, I think it's a good topic to talk about. And, I grew up in church my whole life, and my overwhelming sentiments for church is love. And that feeling outweighs anything negative that has ever happened to me. It's just whatever, I need to get to church. Like, people say it's giving me life, like literally, like life restored when I go to church. Even though everybody in the church may not be nice, you know what I'm saying? Everybody in the church may not always like me. I feel like that, like I said, that's not going to stop me, because that's one relationship in one area of my life that I'm never going to give up, because the church and the fellowship of believers is where God said I ought to be. Church hurt tears up churches. Church hurt keeps people out of heaven because they're not being fed spiritually, and then they get into false doctrine and false ideologies and false theories, and they get off track because they're not being led by a shepherd. And we all need a shepherd. And without a pastor, you are a sheep that is uncovered. The enemy is like a lion. He doesn't run, after people who are strong, the head of the pack. He's going to get the ones that are straggling at the end of the pack. Those are going to be the ones that are attacked first. Those are going to be the ones that the enemy, gets, is going to be the people who are weak and who are not well fed, are not strong in the word of God, and who have not stuck close to the head. And I believe that is what the enemy wants in this last day, is for a lot of people to try to say that I'm saved, but I don't go to church. And I'm saved, but I'm not in a fellowship. I'm saved, but I don't believe in going to church. I'm saved, I don't go to church all the time. I'm saved, I don't have any church friends though. I'm saved, but I don't have a support system. Those things were set in place by Jesus in the New Testament for a reason. He built the church, and he established the church, for a reason. And as we are moving into this last and evil day, we see that people are fighting to tear apart the church. People are spreading lies. They're spreading rumors on the church. They're saying whatever they want to say. All the time, I'm amazed at how many Christians are just completely, unaware that, that they are under attack spiritually. And I'm like, don't you understand? Like, I'm like, how can you believe in God and not believe in his word? If the Bible tells us that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, it's not that person that you're wrestling with. It's the spirit that's working through that person. Okay. It's somebody in the church that's working to keep you out the church. The enemy is using people. The Bible says that, there's tares among the wheat. So when you come into a church, it's not just going to be, those wonderful people, the wheat. There's also tares that are sent there to tear down the kingdom. There's tares that are sent there, that are planted amongst the wheat, to try and run out the people who need the Lord, to try to discourage you from coming to church faithfully, to try to keep you, from becoming all that God has for you, to try and keep the progression of the church from happening. They're trying to hold back the ministry from reaching that next peak. And I like I said, it never ceases to amaze me how people can believe in God, but they don't believe really. It's like a fake belief. It's like, just in case God is real and judgment day really does happen, like, I want to make sure that I say it, I believe, I confess it. It's like, no, it's more than that. It is a life walk, and there's many areas that you're going to fall short in if you don't come to church. Like, there's many areas that you're going to be lacking in if you don't come to church, and you don't have a pastor or a shepherd who is going to rightly divide the word of truth and show you the pathway to righteousness, and make sure that you're doing well along the way. We have to not be ignorant of Satan's devices, and wake up and understand that there's a reason why you don't want to come to church. There's a reason why you don't want to participate. There's a reason why, you're struggling on Sunday mornings when it's time to get out of bed. It's the reason why everything always breaks down when it's time for you to go to church. Every time you make up your mind to church, drama happens. Every time you get ready to do something and you say you're going to get your life together, drama happens. You need to understand that it's not just drama happening, but that the enemy is targeting you, that you will never have your best life until you have made up your mind that no no matter what obstacles may come my way, I will press toward the mark, amen, for the prize of the high calling, which is in Jesus Christ. I believe that, it's high time that we wake up as believers and understand that and stop forsaking the assembling of ourselves together. No matter what anybody does to me, no matter what anybody says about me, no matter how anyone mistreats me, no matter how much I may dislike. And this is another thing. If there's things in the church that you dislike, that you wrestle with, something that I've learned is usually that's a burden that the Lord has given you in an area that you not needs to keep you from church, but that you need to start working in. Okay, let me give you an example. I really just the audio is so raggedy. I just hate the way they need to upgrade. It's just not, upgraded enough for me. Well, why don't you be the person that begins to upgrade? Since that's something that bothers you, why don't you go to the pastor and say, Pastor, I noticed that we don't have this, so I'm going to start helping here. What do you think I should do? Like, that's how it's supposed to work. If you have a burden in an area, I feel like the ushers are mean. Become an usher. Start ushering and be that nice usher. Whatever it is that bothers you. I feel like the youth ministers are not relevant. Okay, start going to things and pitching ideas. And everyone may not always receive you in love when you begin to do these things, but the Lord will be on your side. And I do believe that He will. My dad always said, it's not about skill, it's about who's faithful. Whoever is faithful is going to be the person who gets used. For some reason, I've witnessed that, like, when people get into ministry, there's a certain arrogance I do feel like people take on as soon as they get into ministry. And it's ironic because I feel like in ministry, it's the most humble position that you could ever hold. I feel like to be a servant is what you're signing up for. I mean, it's to be at everybody's beck and calls. As a pastor's kid, that's how I grew up, watching my dad roll out of bed in the middle of the night, running to people's side and running, on fumes, as he was a parent and also a teacher. My father and my mom, they taught for many years in public schools. And there was just always something going on, and my parents never complained about it. I remember when the phones would ring in the middle of the night, it was just like the way we lived. And, I don't understand how that can make anyone arrogant. Like, I feel like people who are in ministry who have that arrogance about them really are in it for the wrong reasons. And when you get into ministry, you understand that means that you're at the mercy of God and the mercy of the people, truly. And I feel like, there's a certain humility that requires. There's a certain level of love for people that you are supposed to have when you get into ministry. There's a certain level of just compassion and care that is required because of the nature of what you're doing. And it requires you to be loving and compassionate. It requires you to have a long suffering and patient spirit. And I see with especially young ministers, like when they get into ministry, they feel like, let me put my clergy collar on because I'm up front now. And I'm like, yeah, you're up front, but you're on the front line. You know what I'm saying? You're a target for the devil. The enemy is always targets the pastor's family and the pastor's home first. When you get into ministry, it's like you become a target in the community, especially if you're speaking the truth. It's if you're not speaking the truth, if you choose, to be a false prophet, a weak prophet, somebody who, is not going to be telling the truth, who's going to be bending things, is not going to talk about those issues that nobody wants to talk about, that doesn't want to, if you're going to be the minister that doesn't teach the Bible in totality, if you're going to be the minister that, doesn't even use a Bible, just speaks from your heart, maybe quote one scripture, and if you're going to be that person who doesn't sit down and study the word day and night, if you're going to be the minister, that doesn't care enough, to pre-plan your sermons and to seek the Lord, to go on extended fast and go on extended prayer. But I believe if you're a child of God, you're absolutely going to be, dealing with these oppressive spirits that are working in this world. Unless you join in, you're going to be a target and you're not going to be able to say anything. Otherwise, you're going to be under fire, and under fire is what God requires. Under fire is what God requires. God requires you to go into that that lion's den. God requires you to go, into the fiery furnace, and he will be with you, as he was with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, as he shut the mouths of the lions. But that doesn't mean you're exempt from being in a lion's den. That doesn't mean that you're going to be exempt from being in a fiery furnace. You better just get it made up in your mind that if I stand up for God, if I stand up for God, then I know that there's going to be some persecution that comes with that. I prepared myself to know what it really means to be noisy for God. I say, oh, we're noisy for God, but oh my God, the repercussions of being noisy for God, the attitudes and the burden that comes along with repping Jesus really, truly, fully, like really repping Jesus, not just here and there, but doing really just trying to sell out to God. Oh my goodness, the burden that comes with it. But are you willing to accept that? Are you willing to endure that? And are you going to do it with a good spirit? Are you going to do it with the spirit of love and the spirit of meekness? Being noisy for God is not a simple task. It sounds cute, it sounds catchy, but at the end of the day, being noisy for God in a world that's full of sin, it's basically putting a target on your forehead, putting a target on your back. Nobody likes it. Everybody likes it when they want a form of godliness. Everybody's comfortable with, a piece of God. I heard people talking about a sprinkle of Jesus. A sprinkle is not enough. A sprinkle is not enough. What did he say? He said, people on the last days cry, Lord, Lord, in your name we casted out devils. And God said, no, depart from me, you worker of iniquity. I never knew you. What does that let us know? That lets us know that it's saints, people who had a little bit of sprinkle of Jesus. They was used, even people who were performing miracles under the power and the anointing of the name of Jesus. God didn't know them because they were still working iniquity, living a lifestyle of sin, because a sprinkle of Jesus is not enough. You got to go all the way in. Like I always say, you got to get out of that lukewarm and you got to let Jesus take you over. I want all of Jesus. I want to drink from the living well. I want to drink from the well that never runs dry. I need to be totally saturated, totally immersed, and totally full. I don't just want a sprinkle. I want everything. I want everything attached to that great name. I want to live my life in that great name. Everything I do, I want it to be in the name of Jesus. I want everything that comes along with being a child of God, who's willing to suffer with the saints than to enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season. Blissful thinking, right? But if it can just help one person, if I could just motivate and inspire one person, to be nicer, to be kinder, to not retaliate when people do evil things, when people say all manner of evil against you, to count it, as an opportunity for God to move, and to count it as an opportunity for you to show God how down you are, to take your persecution like, man, yeah, like, I glory in my tribulation. Glory to God. I glory in my tribulation because I know what is working in me. And I know, that I'm on the right track when the enemy is mad. Oh, yeah. Like, you mad? Like, oh, yeah, I know I must be doing something right. Like, when you take it like that, and you stop trying to fight people, and you stop trying to go off on people, and you stop trying to, whatever. Like, I got to a place where I was just like, okay, whatever. Like, I'm gonna still come. I'm gonna still do what I need to do. I'm gonna be unbothered. I'm not gonna be talking about people. We don't talk about people. We don't go off on people. We are trying to set it off. We're not trying to turn people against people. We're not moving like that. We're just quiet. We're letting God work. Let God do what he do. Let God do what he do. Let God do what he does, and he does it so well, and he's been doing it for so long. He's been doing it before you was here, and he'll be doing it after you're gone. He's a professional at coming to the defense of his children. He's a professional at turning things around. You just wait on the Lord. Don't you become mean and bitter in the waiting process. Waiting on the Lord is where you renew your strength. Okay, I'm gonna stop. I'm not even gonna go there. But anyhow, yes, bless you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for everybody who's still here. Thank you for watching this whole video. And I pray that that God could just be with you in this week. And I pray that this bless you. And I pray that you will have the strength to be noisy for God. And pray for us as we choose, to be noisy for God. Lift us up in prayer. Lift us up before the Lord. And I pray that we can inspire somebody else to take their candlestick and get moving. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like, to comment, all of those things, because doing those things is what helps us to be able to reach more people with the gospel of Jesus Christ. All right. God bless you. And don't forget that holiness is not an option. It's required.